What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 66. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
The Empire.
Brian Manjoma.
Who is currently in a love-hate relationship with Fallout 4.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And Brett Murdoch, who was not supposed to be here, but he is. Yay!
He's wingsuiting to perfection.
Brett, you should be like, you should say the line from Clerks. You know, I wasn't supposed to be here today.
Well, now I can't.
All right, I just tweeted, so everything went to shit for a second.
Like,
this is why I gotta get a new computer, man. It's actually, I should be doing it this week. I don't need to talk about that on air. Anyway, all right, so we're back to running. No, because the thing is like if I start talking about it, then people are gonna start making requests. I'll do that shit on Twitter. It makes no sense to do it on the show. All right, so yeah, we already told you guys we're gonna make a couple little changes to Throwdown Questions. No fucking changes. Everything stays exactly the same. Ask us, video game, pop culture, tech, all that shit. Nothing changes around here. We had a little contest, by the way. To win this right here, the Solid Zero book by Mr. Emilio Lopez, and the winner is, you'll get to find out at the end of the show. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. Final Stage Boss, as always, starts us off and with a really good question. How big is your backlog? Speaking about... Oh, man. Manny, let's start with you, because I'm pretty sure yours is the smallest.
My backlog is... Here's the thing. Eventually, I toss stuff out of my backlog that I will not play again. So sometimes I don't consider it any part of backlog. But as far as backlog, I've been going through... I cleared out Metal Gear Rising Revengeance in like 2 days. I cleared out Broken Age from, let's see, now what do I have? Oh, the only one that's really on my bucket list of backlog is actually playing the Mad Max game. Finally, I'm done with Metal Gear, and now I can play the game that was also released on the same day.
My world is fun.
And not to mention, I have to play the Bloodborne DLC.
Yeah. All right.
That's about it.
Chris.
Oh, mine is huge, man. if I had to count everything I missed that I have on 360 plus the arcade plus PS3 physical games plus my PSN games plus all the PS2 and PS1 games I bought on there that I didn't play when I had PS2 and PS1, and then stuff I still have for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One that I haven't played yet. I don't know. It's an embarrassing number. It's something Carl Sagan would talk about on Cosmos. All right, so I won't embarrass myself any further. It's a freaking lot of games.
A billion games and a billion consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you bring up the word embarrassing, because I call my backlog the backlog of shame. It is so much. It's everything encompassing, and I'm gonna count PS2 into this. Fuck that. PS2, PS3, PS4, it's too much. Like, it's anywhere between 80 and 120 games. If I had to put a number on it, it is embarrassing. It is really fucking embarrassing. I've gotten to a point like, okay, I'm just going to just toss all that shit away and just work on PS4. Even if I just signal it to PS4, it's like 30 some odd games. It's like, fuck, man, shit. You know?
All I got to say is this. You kind of impulse buy games. You could just not buy them.
No, I can't do that if they're free. Fuck that. Blame PS Plus, man. They're right there and they're free. Oh, and I got Xbox shit too. I forgot about that fucking Killer Instinct. At least I can say that. Killer Instinct on Xbox. That's my backlog. Wait, the Gears of War game. Fuck.
Yeah, there's things I always mean to go back to. Look, like Witcher 3 is in my backlog, even though I started it because I stopped it to play Metal Gear. I beat Metal Gear, and I'm playing Fallout 4. And then when I'm done with Fallout 4, I barely have any time before like Dark Souls 3 comes out or Street Fighter 5. Like, there's just so much shit coming out that these things just fall to the wayside and they just keep piling up.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You have all these games, you have every intention of playing them, and then other shit comes up, and then with me, new stuff takes precedence over old stuff. So yeah, the backlog just grows and grows
Like
and
this
grows.
April is going to be a disaster. Talk about backlog.
Oh man,
Division,
February for
Dark
me.
Souls, yeah.
It's like no, I need a time machine, man. All right, let's get to the PC guys. You want to talk about embarrassment? Brian, man, like, I'm not expecting you to give me a number, obviously. So just give us some adjectives that properly describe how many games you have in your backlog.
To actually finish my backlog, I'll probably need to go back in time to when I was born and start there, and then I might be finished by the time I'm now. That's a fair assessment, because it's stupid big. I mean, for instance, I haven't even gone through Dead Space 2 yet.
Wow.
That's just like a rough analysis. But yeah, I have 1,000 hours on Warframe. That's like one of the things that people don't tell you about like a lot of PC gamers, is that they buy a lot of games on Steam, but yeah, they always end up playing the free-to-play ones more. It's really weird and strange.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but it's crazy insane. It actually got to the point where it annoyed me because my monitor now has 2 HDMI ports, so I usually I have my PS3, PS4, and my PC, right? So one of them is always getting switched out for the other. So I said, okay, enough's enough. It's time to put the PS3 to bed now. It's had its time in the sun. It's time for it to go. So I started my platinum agenda, and the first things out the way are the PS3 titles that I like, and after that, the PS3 is gone. So hopefully that will take off something from the backlog. Not much, but it's a start. And then
hey, it's something, man.
And then maybe even this year, again, just finishing games. Just because even now, I only just got back into Fallout 4 Friday, I think. Yeah, on Friday, I only just got back into it after putting it down for Just Cause 3. And I was at a point where I hadn't met the Railroad, and I hadn't met that's the Good Neighbor guys. I can't remember where they are.
Brian,
Yeah.
don't even feel bad, man. I retrieved some lady's frying pan in The Witcher. That's about as far as I.
Oh wow!
That's how far back. I might as well have start over. That's how far into the game I
Might as
am.
well just go back and play The Witcher 1 at that point. 'Cause, geez, that's really early on. That's that's the highlights of my first day of Witcher 3.
Yeah.
That I remember.
Wow. All right, Brett, man, backlog.
I mean, it's definitely gotten bigger recently. I've got Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I've got Just Cause, I've got Bloodborne to go back and play, and then I picked up a few games from Steam. I've got Banished, I've got Escapist, I've got Sword Coast Legends, I have Saints Row 2, 3, 3, and 4. Something else. Oh, Planetary Annihilation, which was a game I was looking at when it was on early access for $90, and I picked up on the Steam sale for for literally $5.
So it doesn't too much then. You actually know what you.
Not too much, but way more than I'm used to.
Interesting. All right, that was a fun one. All right, next here. What qualifies a game to be quote-unquote niche? If a niche game sells more than a big AAA blockbuster game, then is that game still niche? Okay, so let's go to the definition. What is a niche game? Niche game basically means it's the game that a lot, a segment of people like, but it's not the majority of people. Right? That I think we could all pretty much agree that's a niche game. It's where Japanese games that's niche right now. Fighting games kind of niche right now. So
Dark
the next,
Souls, the Souls games are a niche genres because not everyone likes them. But okay, my definition of niche is something that's targeted specifically to a particular audience or a particular group. So that could even be sports games because again, sports games exist. I don't like them. I don't care for them. You'll never see me playing one ever. Simple as that. But yet, I don't deny that they exist. And it's the same thing with the Souls games. Like, I understand them, and they're okay for the most part, but to be honest, they don't interest me as much. So I
Right.
think that that's like it's like a game that doesn't try and capture everyone. So basically, the non-Call of Duty games.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I'm glad you bring up sports games because you said sports games are niche, but sports games are also AAA. So there's that intersection. So I guess a niche game can be AAA. There you go. You just gave us the perfect example of it, actually. Because you're right, those sports games are not for everyone, but a good chunk of people do play them, and they kind of, keep the industry going to some extent. Especially fucking Madden. Um, so yeah, there you go. I mean, does anybody else have any other answer for this? 'Cause I think Brian just nailed it with the whole sports game shit.
Nope.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
I
I
think
agree with Brian.
yeah, I think you can have niche genres, but I don't know if you can have niche games.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Like,
I was thinking about Hatoful Boyfriend. I mean,
yeah,
how many
that's
people are
niche.
playing that game? Like, that's super niche, right?
Mega niche, yeah, because to me,
Hmm.
niche always meant like something that's like, yeah, this is not for everyone. Or it was dating, like Japanese Sims, like,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
like looking for the guy who's looking for a dating sim. All right, buddy, but were you looking for a pigeon dating sim?
yeah.
That's the question.
Exactly. That's mega niche right there. So yeah, I guess a niche genre can be AAA because you got sports games like Madden and basketball and baseball. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily call sports games niche games, but I do agree with the basic concept. I think arguing that would just be splitting hairs.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Because see, niche sports games to us would be niche because we don't like those kind of games, but most Americans like sports. So you know what I mean? So like you going out to go, I like football. It's like, yeah, no shit, you like chicken too. It's so generic. So in that sense, it's not niche. But in the gaming terms, it is niche because not everybody plays sports games. Very good question. I like this question, but I don't know if we properly answered it. Anyway, last question from Final Stage Boss. Earlier this year, I made a prediction that Uncharted 4 could outsell Halo 5, and everyone thought I was a crazy fanboy except for Tony. Let's revisit this question. Do you think it's outside the realm of possibility for Uncharted 4 to outsell Halo 5 now? I have some numbers for you guys, and I apologize in advance for using VG charts because I know some of you guys don't like VG charts. By the way, something about VG charts that I find very interesting. Last gen, right? Xbox 360 guys use VG charts all day, every day. Now this generation, they're not legit. Very interesting. Anyway, so because I was on there to look up sales of Sunset Overdrive, which I'm playing right now. Great game, but it ended up selling like 0.88 something, which is less than a million. So I look at their top 10 list, right, for what's sold so far in January. Uncharted Collections on there, number 7. I'm like, that's kind of weird. Let me click on that. 3.10 million sold worldwide. I'm like, okay, how much has Halo sold? How much has Halo sold? 3.14. Like, wait, so Uncharted Collection is selling as much as the Halo Collection, and I mean as
No, it's
Halo
Halo
5. So
5.
you have so you have a Halo 5 game, right? Halo 5, brand new game, brand new Halo game, canon, everything, versus a fucking collection, and they're selling the same. So will Uncharted 4 outsell Halo 5 by that
Yes.
measurement?
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, that's just one measurement I'm using. Here's the other one. Let's just be obvious here. You have 36 million PlayStations, right, out there in the wild versus roughly 18, 20 million Xboxes. Come on. Uncharted's going to win. There's no way it can't win. Uncharted is the fresh, at least compared to Halo, it's the fresh franchise. It's still being run by the same people who created it. People don't like the fact that 343 is handling the fucking Halo now. They don't really trust them as much as they did Bungie. This is the same guys that brought you the other 3 games. People are hyped up. It's
Right.
gonna. Go ahead, Chris.
The Xbox guys are always like, "We're your exclusives." That's an exclusive. That's coming. That's a AAA game right there for PlayStation. Yeah, a lot of people are probably gonna buy that game.
Yeah. By the way, go ahead, Brian.
Can I just ask, like, in what time frame I'm going to be comparing, or is it just like overall? Because Halo 5 clearly has the time advantage. Because
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going
because
to
this
go
whole
with.
argument, like,
Yeah.
it happened before Uncharted 4 was delayed, because we all
Yeah.
thought that it was coming out at the same time. So now it's not. We can't really like say, okay, in summertime we'll see who has more, because Halo had what, like 3-4 months lead. So it's not really fair to compare.
I don't see how it isn't fair though, because if by the
Well,
summertime Uncharted has outsold fucking Halo, which is out longer, then that's it. It outsold it. End of story. You
yeah,
know?
but then like, if it hasn't, then you'll get a whole bunch of PlayStation fans saying, oh, it hasn't been out for the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like they
I
have
see what
that
you're saying.
as like a safety net, and I don't think that it's fair for them to have that safety net. It's either all in or all out.
Yeah.
So
So
like,
what are you
are we comparing
suggesting?
like month by month or what? Because
Well,
I don't know what people compare.
I'm personally going to use the first week barometer, and first week and then end of the year. That's what I'm using as my barometer. Uncharted 4, there's no way it's not going to outsell Halo. No fucking way it's not going to outsell it. I don't see that happening. I don't see Halo 5 outselling it, especially with the reviews that game's been getting, the reception it's been getting. Uncharted's going to beat it easily.
I'd say give it like a first month, and then 3 months, and then 6 months, and then at least like I'm pretty sure that Uncharted will win at least two of those three.
Yeah, well,
Like,
like I said, I'm going to use the first week, and then I'm going to use the end of the year. Unless, like, by the end of the summer, it's like, hey, Uncharted just sold 10 million compared to Halo 5. Then there's your winner, All right. Any other thoughts on this?
Nope.
Not
Right.
really. I kind of don't care which one does it. As long as I get the game I want to play. Sorry.
All right. Moving on here. We got, okay, I'm going to mix these two together because they're kind of similar. So, Keon Mitchell and Himdeal, they both ask us about a PlayStation VR. So, Himdeal goes with the Oculus Rift being priced at $599. Do you think the PlayStation VR will be closer to that price rather than the sweet spot of $299? And Himdeal goes, what price would PlayStation VR need to drop at for Sony to run away with VR? All right, take it away, Brett. I'm looking at you.
I don't think they need to hit $299, but I think they need to hit $399 in order to get it. I think $400 roughly for the console, or yeah, 300. You know what I mean? $300 for the console, $400 for a headset would
Chicken
be
and
a
dogs.
fairly decent entry price. That would mean that you could get into the whole VR thing for just $100 more than Oculus's headset alone, which I think would be enough of a gap to get a bunch of people in, personally.
Will it make it a runaway success, though? That's the other part of the question asks.
Yes, I think it will, honestly, because I think that, a lot of people got really upset when Oculus announced their price point, and that was because a lot of people want to be involved in this. They don't want this to be an enthusiast thing. They don't want this to be an elitist thing. They don't want it to be only some people get to play with this awesome new toy thing. Like, everybody wants to play with VR. So I think it's a mistake to honestly go the direction Oculus did. And what that means is that there's a very big pot of people that want to be brought in on this. There's a large consumer base, I guess, which means the pie or the trophy for whoever wins this contest is pretty fucking big. So I almost feel like there's enough hype surrounding VR and enough people want to try VR that whoever takes the majority share, it will be a quote-unquote runaway success, because VR is kind of bound to be a quote-unquote runaway success at this point. There's just enough people that want to try it. It's going to be the Wii all over again, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of agree with that, because here's the way I see it. Okay, you have the Oculus Rift already out, selling out at 600. Imagine if somebody else comes out with 400. People are willing to do that. By the way, over the weekend I saw dudes fucking buying $1,200 drones. So I'm like, damn, like, people are just throwing money away now. Not really throwing money away, but just throwing money at shit they want. So $600, $400, not that much compared to a fucking drone. Which is crazy. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
I have a very different idea to that. I can't remember who asked the question, but what about like what price point does this need to be a runaway success?
Yeah.
Pretty much under 200. Like, if it hits that price point, which it won't because it's VR,
Yeah.
then like it will just win. at that point, because like at 200 you can undercut a lot of people and just get in this hour. But then I had the other thought, like, okay, it would be cheaper, but then, as we all know, um, hardware lives and dies off the software, and if the software is not there to support it, then the hardware will die. Just look at the
They've got
Vita.
over 100 titles for launch.
No, they said that they have 100 titles in development.
Yeah,
They said
there's only two launch titles for Oculus.
No, PlayStation said that they will have 100 titles at launch.
No,
No,
they said that they have 100 titles in development, didn't say that at launch. I'm very certain that didn't say that at launch. If it did, then I would have definitely taken note of that.
If only I were near my PC right now.
I'll try to look it up because
If I wasn't playing Warframe, then I'd look it up. But I'm very certain that.
Excuses.
Okay, I'm in like a survival right now, so I can't really take my hands off. The fact that I'm actually talking to you guys itself is quite amazing.
Hey man, that's dedication.
Anyway, it needs the software to back it up. So like, even if it does come at that launch, a price of like 200, and it does get at like a higher attachment rate, if no one's buying the software, then like it will just fall off the edge of the map.
By the way,
like,
Brian was right. Brian, you were right. 100 in development.
Yeah, because 100 at launch seems way too much.
I thought that seemed ridiculous myself, but
yeah, and this is news that's coming from January 7th. It was a couple of days ago. So yeah, 100 are in development.
Yeah. So so it needs like the software to support it, because we've seen this like way too often. We've seen it with the Vita, we've seen it with the Kinect, we've seen it with the Move. Like all these things just died off because again the software was not there to support it. Like the tech was like great, like just the damn Vita's amazing, but yet the software is just not there, and just it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Yeah, because
it
could have been something, man.
It also just could have been like the next great handheld, but no, there's no software to like keep it afloat. And I think,
and not to go off on a tangent, but I really think one of the big things that killed Vita is also that fucking memory card, dude. Like, I didn't want to buy games because I couldn't fit them within that 4 gig or whatever the fuck it was. It's like, come on, man. Like, that's a megabytes. Like, that's some bullshit, dude. I bought the same size memory card for my 3DS for $30, and Sony's asking 100. Get the fuck out of here. You know, I think that had a big deal to do with it too. But anyway, go on. Not to do really too much. I had to throw that in there. I was thinking about the other, like, why did the Vita die? I really think that memory card really had a lot to do with it, man.
Probably did. Again, yeah. So like, again, like the VR can launch at a good price point, but if software's not there, then it's not going to do well. And I go the same for the Rift and the Vive as well. It's like if the software's not there, then again, there'll be nothing happening.
It'll be the Vita.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's like also another thing. But to answer the question, 200 is pretty much the runway point. But then again, there are people. Again, yeah, that and also the people who have drawn who have chosen which side of the line that they stand on, like the Rift, Vive, whatever. Like they've chosen that. I don't think that the people that are in between are that much, because usually like the swing voters per se, they're usually like far less than the guaranteed voters. So yeah, I don't think that the swing guys will make too much of a difference, because it seems like most people have just said, I'm getting at this or I'm getting at that, you know.
Yeah.
So
all right.
It's still a bit interesting to see how things pan out. Like again, I love to have this conversation like in October, you know, when like VR's had a good 6 months ish. Well,
yeah.
The Rift has at least. I don't know about the PlayStation VR, the Vive.
Yeah, whatever the hell those are coming out, you know.
Yeah.
We don't know. All right, let's move on here. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think. I honestly think it'll probably debut about $399. I don't know what the runaway price would be. I think Brian's right. If it's 200, people will jump on it. I don't think it'll be that low though. Maybe.
People buy like 2 of those motherfuckers.
Seriously, but we'll see. Yeah, and like that's you guys made a very important point that software is the selling point, right?
Wii U, I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me, Chris. Yeah, the Wii U, no software.
Yeah.
Don't say that to the Nintendo fanboys.
Oh God, Mario Maker! Oh.
Mario Maker, it's the greatest game ever. Not a game.
It's a game that you have to make your own game with.
Yeah.
It's a game that
Don't believe
Nintendo
them.
copied from the community and then charged you for it.
Yeah.
That's the most
Didn't
anti-consumer thing in the world, I swear.
Little Big Planet do it first?
Yeah, but even Little Big Planet had a campaign. Just saying. Oh man. All right, let's move on here. With the delay of Uncharted 4 and Record, do you think developers and publishers will start thinking twice about releasing half-baked games? This all started with Assassin's Creed Unity. I think after that colossal fuck up, every game started getting delayed, because they don't want that same repeat. So it's not really because of Uncharted and Record, it's just because of everything that's gone on, these half-baked, half-ass games. They don't want that. Because here's what I always say. Gamers will forgive a game delay. They will not forgive a buggy fucking game. I'm still bitching about Fallout 3. I'll let you know. People don't forgive that readily, So, yeah, that's what's happening. They're just too reticent to fucking no, we're not releasing now. Release the shit when it's ready. I'm pretty sure the publishers aren't happy with that because they want that shit out now, but, you can't be taking those kind of chances anymore.
Right. You just can't. It destroys trust. It destroys studios. I mean, look at SimCity. They released a mess with the DRM and the servers crashing and stuff. It killed Maxis. Maxis is not around anymore because of that. You can't do that anymore with the internet and game review sites like guys like us and other podcasters. You know right away when the game is fucked up. Therefore, you're not going to go spend your money on it, right? And that hurts them. So it's smart to get your games developed properly. Don't rush it out the door. And I think they learned that hard lesson finally. So yeah, delay it. Whatever it takes to get it to a good state, do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we always say. Basically, we don't mind delays as long as the game comes out right. That's the most important shit. Don't release a fucked up game,
Yeah, well, I hope that's the case. I hope that's the reason why they're delaying it, because it shows that they're giving a fuck. But then at the same time, EA exists. This is a company that will happily just pump out a FIFA or Madden and all sorts, and it's hey, just deal with it. Boom. Every year they do it purely for money. It's the whole reason there's so many yearly franchises is money aspect. So it's kind of I hope that's the reason, but I'm not too sure. Because some of these companies just do not care.
Oh no, yeah, you're gonna see EA and Activision release their annual games. That goes without a doubt.
But these guys, I don't know. What's the studio behind Recall? Because I
know it's KG Inafune and Concept, the same guys that are doing Mighty Number 9. Very interesting if they're working on this game. It's get Mighty Number 9 out the door already. Guys, what the fuck?
Okay. Maybe they just I'm blaming it because they don't think that it was good enough yet. That's also another reason why.
Well, I mean,
again, you get that a lot from what was it? I can't remember his name. The Gran Turismo guys. They just won't release the game. Yeah, they just won't release the game until they think it's done. These guys will sweat over the apex of one corner for 3 days, and then okay, on to the next corner. Yeah. So hopefully it's that case and not just hey, let's buy some time or let's do this, let's do that type nonsense.
Let's just assume that's what's going on. They just get
let's hope so.
Exactly, But then what other reason would you have to delay the game, if not that?
Add microtransactions?
Oh, no. Oh, man, that made me sad just thinking about it. And there will be microtransactions, of course.
Didn't I say so for not Halo 4, for Uncharted 4?
Yeah, there will be. I mean, how could you doubt that? It's 2016. There will be microtransactions. That goes without saying. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's sad though.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on this?
Well, at least there's no season passes now, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that.
Well, they came and went, so microtransactions will come and go, hopefully.
Wait, Warner Brothers is done with season passes? They're the kings of that. Every single game they launch has a season pass.
I wouldn't be
And
surprised if one of their season passes has a season pass.
not season pass, the online pass stuff that they used to do.
Okay.
Yeah, remember that one? That was brilliant.
Oh man, Brett, any thoughts on this?
Not especially.
Right, May.
Not really.
All right, moving on. To Keon's last question, which is a very vague one. What gaming announcements do you think we will hear this year? I don't know. Kotaku closes down.
Oh shit!
Who the fuck
Yeah, that's
knows?
just the one we want to happen.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The year just started. I have no fucking idea what's gonna happen. You never know, man. It's too vague of a question. You know, we don't have any parameters to base it on.
My prediction is you will need to eat and you will need to go to the bathroom.
In the
Holy
gaming
shit! I'm
industry?
like Nostradamus here.
In the gaming industry.
Yes.
No,
Joke's
you,
on you. I haven't pooped since December.
you don't do either of those things till you finish your game.
Yeah. Have the Koreans taught you nothing?
Yes, and then you die like a
Oh
video
yeah.
game. I did-
Another Korean person will not listen to all the warnings and die from playing games too long. That's my prediction.
Manny, you're really up close tonight. You're like, yo, man, what's going on? Like I said, I have no idea how to answer this question. The year hasn't started yet. I have no fucking idea.
My prediction: a game that we all like and are looking forward to will get delayed.
Yes.
At least 3 more of them will get delayed because that's what happens.
I have one. I think this year is going to be the year that we've kind of been waiting for with these consoles. You know, it's like the first 2 years were kind of a warm up. Now we're going to get into the good shit. I mean, we all saw our fucking, like, you think our backlog is back now? It's going to be even worse by the end of the year. There's so much shit. Chris, April, man. You know, I know that's your month.
April's gonna be so heavy. There's like at least 4 or 5 things I want. Between February and April, there's like 5 games I want. I can't play 5 games in that amount of time.
5 games? Oh, I wish it was only 5 for me.
No, well, dude, I'm not getting them for free, so.
No, I'm not talking
Get my
about.
money.
I'm talking about games you want. Just period. It's got to be more than 5. I'm talking about games you want.
No, there's there's more than that. It's just not enough time, man.
So I think this is the year where things finally become what we've wanted them to be from the beginning. You know, it's like, hey, finally, thank you for giving us what we fucking wanted. This happened with every single PlayStation era too. The first 2 years were just like, So now we're getting to the good stuff. So that's what I predict this year. We're finally going to get the big ass crazy current gen, next gen games, whatever.
My prediction is that The Last Guardian and Final Fantasy 15 will get delayed, and also Final Fantasy 15 for PC will be announced as well. Those are my 3 predictions.
I'm going to jump in on that one. I think Final Fantasy 15 will be coming out because they actually have a demo. But for Last Guardian, I'm still staying on that boat that game is never coming. So I agree with you on that one, Brian. It's not it's not coming out this year. No, I don't care what Sony says. That shit ain't coming. Sorry, Mike A. That's what I think. All right, Brett, predictions.
I honestly don't know. Like, it's so vague. Like, about anything in particular. I imagine Division's getting.
I know what you would have said a week ago before the Oculus price came out. I know what your prediction would have been.
I still think VR is going to be a big thing. I honestly do. I think somebody else will pick up the point on it. Somebody out there right now is going, I thought Oculus was going to sell for like $300, but they're not. So somebody needs to sell for $300. Like, if the Vive or somebody does not come out with a cheap price point, some entrepreneurial motherfucker will definitely pick up that gap. So, as far as predictions, I think Division will be delayed, and that'll probably be okay. I don't know. We'll see a yearly franchise that is mediocre and disappointing.
Okay. Here's one for you, Brett. Final Fantasy or Square will announce either microtransactions or DLC for Final Fantasy VII.
That's not coming out this year, though.
No. They
Or
said,
even just the announcement. Just the announcement. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I also predict me getting very angry about that. Be like, so let me get this straight. You're going to sell it as 3 games plus microtransactions and DLC.
yep, and they'll do it especially to spite you, Brett. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it, just only you, no one else.
Yeah, and then people on the internet will tell me things like, well, Vincent wasn't a core character. He was optional when you've played the first game, and I will turn red and bleed out the ears.
Yeah, $10 for a pack of materia and shit, right?
No,
Oh,
no,
wow.
it would be that they're like, oh, Vincent is a DLC character, and the people will also tell me like, you can't just cut a character out of the game, and they'll be like, well, he was a secret optional character, so you didn't have to get him. It's not like he was part of the game. I'll pay $10 because I really liked him, and blah blah blah, and then the glorious monument that is gaming will erode another inch, and I'll die inside a little.
Oh,
2016, people, that's what's gonna happen.
Shit.
Right, any other predictions?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, all right, guys. Go ahead,
One big AAA title will turn out to be average at best. I don't know which one. Take your pick.
Yeah,
Brian,
no,
Brian,
I already
I don't
know.
have my fainting couch. You can't drop that kind of bomb.
No, I already know. I already
The
know.
Division.
I know what it's gonna be. The Division. Division's gonna be fucking mediocre as shit. People are gonna be so disappointed. Watch.
I
I'm not
don't
just
know.
talking, and I'm not just talking shit. I played it and I almost fell asleep. It was fucking boring.
When did you play it?
I played at E3, dude, with these fucking meathead guys who didn't even try to do the objectives. It's just run around, kill each other. I was like,
That was a while ago. I'm hearing really good things about Rainbow Six Siege that just came out, so apparently it's quite a bit more.
I don't know who you're hearing that from, Chris. You have a different story about Rainbow Six Siege.
I had you just described my experience. Hey, everybody, let's storm the mansion. No, everybody's running around shooting each other. I'm gonna go in the window. I'm gonna go down the stairs. It's like, can we go in insertion? Like, somebody make a plan? No, no one. Okay, that was my whole experience with that shit.
Yeah, and that's
Terrible.
gonna be the Division. And if the Division gets announced that it's multiplayer only, that game's fucking dead instantly.
No, it's not multiplayer only. It does have a single player.
Well, let's hope. I don't trust these guys now.
But I'm not sure whether or not it's online only though.
Oh.
That's something I'm interested to know.
Yeah, and the other thing, Tony, is like you played it in the scope of a multiplayer setting, like the same way you played it the same way people play Call of Duty, right? In that you were dropped into an area, you already had your equipment, you already had your guns, you were grouped up with people, and here's an objective. So of course people treat it like a deathmatch, but I think if you make a system that's kind of like Dark Souls, people respond kind of like they do in Dark Souls. Like if it takes you forever to get across the map to meet up with your friend, you're not just going to run in there with a shotgun and get shot right away.
But that's not the case. Not every single shooter I've ever played always winds down. People just running around like, hey, there's an objective. Fuck the objective. I'm gonna run around shooting people. It always boils down to that. Always.
Well, yeah, but Tony, you don't play games that aren't regular, standard, mainstream mass shooters. Like you didn't play DayZ. Like they're
No, I'm talking about like I'm talking about when I've played Call of Duty, when I've played Battlefield,
Yeah,
when I've played
yeah,
Rainbow
those
Six,
are
they're all the same game. They're all the
Yeah,
same, dude.
Dude, you do realize though you're comparing a competitive match-based shooter compared to an open-world multiplayer game, right? Like you're comparing apples and
But
oranges. You know that, right?
Not really. I mean, even when you played Red Dead Redemption, the free mode, Grand Theft Auto new free mode, what do people do? They just run around shooting each other. No one's doing anything. It's going to boil down to that.
I mean, it could. It depends on what kind of restrictions they put on you, or what you lose when you die, or how much. Like when you die in Grand Theft Auto, you don't fucking lose anything. So it just encourages people to run around like jackass maniacs. But
like, I need to see more of the Division. Like, because I know there's the RPG elements. How do those play out as you play longer, right? Because you can't gauge that in like 10 minutes, right? But and it's probably going to be one of those games where you need to play with your friends, because if you play with a bunch of random idiots, it's going to just be the same experience I've been having, with every other multiplayer game on the planet. It's just like, really hit the objectives right there. I remember I was playing fucking Call of Duty, and I forgot the name of it, but you have to pick up dog tags, right? I won because I actually went and picked up the dog tags. Nobody picked up the fucking dog tags. They were just shooting each other, letting me take more dog tags in the process. Nobody does shit in fucking multiplayer. That's one of the reasons I can't stand it. It's just mindless, But yeah, Division, I predict that's going to be the biggest disappointment of the year.
Okay, in the Division's defense, as I've been just had my eyes on it. there is like a single player, and I do believe that they have said something about drop in, drop out co-op for it. So I'm not sure how that will work. Whether you can like group up with like random guys a la Destiny style, where you're just like, oh, these three guys just happen to be here, like it puts you in a group or something. I'm not too sure, but it does definitely have PvE and PvP areas. So there are places where you can go and you won't get shot. That's a good thing. Um, what you lose when you die, as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, in the PvE places, you lose whatever loot you got in that area. So essentially, it's you go there to get like the ultra gear, but it's like high risk, high reward since the other people that want that high tier gear as well. So that's all you seem to lose, as far as I know. I may be wrong, but that sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds about
sounds like another shooter MMO, and it did well for Destiny. So who knows? I could
I-
be wrong.
It
You,
is
you're
sounding
being so
similar
insulting
to
comparing it.
Destiny.
How is it insulting? Destiny's one of the biggest successes of this generation. That's actually a compliment. Come
Because they're
on,
going
dude.
because they're going for vastly different things.
It's like
Yeah.
Destiny, but good with a story and third person.
We don't know about
A
the story yet. We don't know about the story yet.
It has a story. The story
Yeah.
is pretty much
Destiny
dude
has
who goes to
Destiny
New
has a
York
quote
after like a
unquote
virus
story
breaks
too.
out. That's
Yeah.
that's a story.
Destiny has
quote
a
unquote story too.
no. Destiny has a hole the shape of a story where a story should be.
It has
So
a story.
if Division has any story, even if it's a bad story, it wins by default.
Wow.
Brett, you know that optical illusion with like the three circles with the segments cut out that look like a triangle.
Yes.
That's like Destiny. It's like it has those three circles, and that triangle is like the story. Like the story's not really there, but you think it's there. You see it that it's there, but it's not really there.
It's the shape. It's the shape of a story.
Yeah. If I have to recap Destiny, it would be stuff happens, buy our DLC.
Yeah, basically. And we can't explain to you why stuff happens because we don't have time to explain to it. It's like, really? That was the most insulting thing. I don't even have time to tell you why I don't have time to tell you. Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, man. All right, let's move on here. Keon also goes on to say, Happy New Year's to you guys. Thank you so much for all your hard work and consistency. Welcome back. We're glad to be back.
Thank you, man.
Answer all these crazy questions. All right, next up, Fern Gully. Considering the overall reception of Halo 5, when do you think is the best time for Halo 6 to be released? Don't announce Halo 6. Keep that, like, don't release another Halo game for a while because, and I say this in the shadow of Halo Wars 2 coming up this year. Okay, this is what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Microsoft is going to make this an annual franchise. They're going to release these Halo games ad nauseum, right? But what should happen is take a year or two off. Get people want Halo back, because nobody really liked that. I know Halo 5 sold 3 million, but that's pathetic compared to how much, it usually sells. So people just don't care for it as much.
They don't care though. I'm here to let you know that they don't care. The people.
Oh no, yeah.
No,
Go ahead, Brett.
even the people making Halo, and this is, I've said before, I'll say it again. This is the problem with publicly traded companies and stuff. They're always looking at the short-sighted thing. Like, you may know it, I may know it, every Halo fan may know it, and everybody under the sun may know. Hell, even the people making the game may know that making this a yearly franchise is probably resigning it to its deathbed. Not financially speaking, but in terms of it's going to water down the brand, and it's not going to be the same beloved, Halo that in 10 years that it could be as we stand. But nobody cares about that because the people who own shares in that company right now aren't going to own those shares in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
They're buying them. They want the company to make more money so that they can sell them, and then they're done. So they would honestly cut off their nose to spite their face. It doesn't matter to them. In fact, it works better for them if they can destroy the future of the company and make $5 today while doing it. They will absolutely do it with a smile on their face and tell you it's the right decision every time because it's good business. And the problem is that these are the people that are making decisions on things that we love. So I don't know what the answer is, but it does absolutely make sense what they're doing when you kind of look at it like that. Like, they don't
Yeah.
care about the longevity of Halo. They don't care about it as a brand or a franchise. Yeah, they probably know that the future of Halo would be better served to not make the game this year. But the people who own stock this year, they don't want to wait until after they sell their stock for you to make this game. They want you to make it now, and they want you to release it now, and they want you to release it this quarter so that they can make money this quarter, even if it's half-baked, because they don't care if that hurts your reputation as a game designer or a brand or a franchise or whatever, because they've already sold your share and moved on to the next flavor of the week. So it doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters. And I think we all ought to probably sit down and figure out a way to make this matter. And maybe that's, as we as gamers grow up and get older and become successful and have jobs, maybe we start becoming the investors. Maybe we buy our own industry from the inside out. Instead of doing it bit and parcel via Kickstarter, we actually buy the company that's giving us shit. And then eventually, in one glorious day, when we all own EA, we can go, no, fuck you, don't do that.
Yeah, that's pie in the sky stuff there. But I see what you're saying. Because you're right. These guys don't give a fuck about the longevity of Halo. They don't care about the legacy of Halo. They care about the fucking money. And that's why, like I said, what they should do is give Halo a break. They're not giving Halo a fucking break. You're going to see a Halo game every fucking year until they run it to the ground. And you're going to be like, you know what? Whatever. I made my millions. Fuck it. Yep. And the thing is, Microsoft is playing it very safe with Halo now. They're not going to take any risks. Manny, you and I were talking about this earlier.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what you told. Tell the audience what you told me.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything that's part of the reason. What we were just talking about is also part of the reason why Ryan Payton left, because they didn't want him to make his own make his version of Halo or do something new with Halo. They wanted the same thing over again. They wanted Halo 2, or the most successful Halo game they made, just remakes of that.
Yeah,
and
so.
I predict this with Gears of War. As much as you love Gears of War will not be the same game that you know and remember. It'll be a clone of what you remember.
Oh man, you're jumping into the next question with that one. All right. Does anybody else have anything to say about the Halos?
I haven't played the story, but if Halo 5 ended on a cliffhanger, then next year, if not the year after.
Yeah, that's what I predict too. Halo Wars this year, then Halo 6 year after that. Chris, what do you say about Halo? Because you're the big Halo guy, and you haven't even picked up Halo 5 and you haven't even played it.
It's in my backlog, yes. It ended up on the backlog pile, and I love Halo. But yeah, I mean, the problem is, like, as soon as I got it, I think I talked to you and Richard about it, and Richard just kind of poo-pooed all over it, and I was like, oh man, maybe I'll check that out later. Then I got Fallout, and then everything went to the wayside, and I have to get back to it, but I think they should really take a break from the game, really rethink the story and everything. Like, I didn't like what I was hearing about those fetch quests and stuff, so I mean, Halo needs to go back to formula or something. They really need to rethink it. They're not getting Bungie back, so you got
back to formula, Mr. Strum.
Yeah, exactly. I know Halo fans want to throw me through the window like that guy.
Like the Green Goblin threw that guy through the window.
But it does. It really does. It needs to be rethought, and you need to reconnect with fans. Give it a breather. Give it a breather. It's kind of dwindling. Like, give it a break. Like, and come back strong. Halo Wars is a completely different thing. Halo Wars is an RTS, right? Like StarCraft. So it's not really connected in a way. I played the first one, and I like RTSs okay, but not really for me. But give Halo a break, man. Like give it a gap. Do other unique IPs, and then come back to it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. 343 is specifically there to make Halo games.
Well, yeah, that's exactly why Bungie bailed, right? They didn't want to be the Halo studio. That's why they left. But I know they're there to make Halo games, so Microsoft has more than enough fucking money to keep those guys around and thinking. I mean, if Polyphony can take 6 or 7 years to make a Gran Turismo game, this is Microsoft. You're a multi-billion global company. You could pour money into Xbox all day long, so give those guys some time to like sit and construct a proper campaign and extend the game and look around at what's going on in other scenes and then incorporate it into Halo and then do something new with it.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's like if Sony's doing it with Polyphony, why not do it with 343? But that's not what they're short-sighted, like Brett said. They just want that instant cash, and that's the problem. But
Give me
the
the
only
cash.
Yeah, and the people who are going to lose are the Halo fans, unfortunately. Moving on because this question is related. Do you think the coalition, not the website, the developers, the coalition, can bring Gears of War 4 back to the level of Epic's Gears of War games? I sorely want Gears of War 4 to blow us away. Okay, the coalition is specifically around to make Gears of War games, nothing else. And I don't know if I said this publicly. Actually, I said it on Twitter, but I want to say it on the show. Okay, this is what's going to happen. Okay, you had the Ultimate Edition, right, come out last year. This year you're gonna have Gears of War 4. Year after that you're gonna have Gears of War 2 Ultimate Edition. Year after that Gears of War 6, or Gears of War 5, and so on and so on. Until they run out of all those games. So basically you're gonna get one new game followed by a remaster, and they're gonna keep on that boat. Can they be as good as the Epic games? I can't answer that. So Chris, I'm gonna look to you on this one.
I really don't know. I really don't
Specifically,
know.
did you play Judgment?
No, I didn't. I skipped Judgment.
Okay, because
I played
Judgment was
the
not
part.
by
Yeah, I played the previous three. I didn't hear good things about Judgment, so I skipped it.
yeah.
To be honest, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it'll live up to the original three. That's what I look at. That's my template. And they have a lot to live up to, but that was the same argument I made when 343 was formed, right? And they got all these A-listers in there to make Halo games, and they made Halo 4, and I was like, it's okay. But I still go back, and I loved Reach, right? That was the last Bungie made Halo, and it didn't even have Master Chief, and I think that game's fantastic. So you could make parallels there, but I don't know the caliber of guys working at the Coalition and what they're going to do with Gears 4. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, if Gears of War Judgment's anything to judge
if that's the indicator, yeah, then you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Man. All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts? I will have thoughts on this later on when I play the rest of the Gears of War games.
You'll also be very fresh on it. But the thing is, again, when you start switching around studios like that, it's a very hard thing to kind of live up to somebody taking over the reins and essentially, the big guy saying to you, you are there to make these games, make these games. So now what do you get? You kind of get a pale duplicate of what it was before, which is not what made those games great.
You're right.
If you could.
Just to jump on what you said, the original guys made those Gears of War games because they wanted to make these kind of games. They like that was their passion. We want to make Gears of War. These guys is like, you need to make these games. That is your mandate. They're being not forced, but they're being mandated to make these games. That's the difference.
What if somebody said, what if we want to do something totally new? Just try something a little different. They'll probably be like, no, that's not Gears of War.
Yeah, exactly. You're 100% right about that. So you're just getting this, like, I guess, generic brand Gears of War, just like you're getting a generic brand Halo now.
Yeah.
It's not the original source.
I think in history, more often than not, we've seen titles kind of take a downward turn when they switch studios rather than the other way around. I mean, look at SOCOM. When it went to Slant 6, they got shitty.
Said Brian.
Well, Brian, you agree?
I forgot about that, to be fair, but yes.
No,
See, that was just an example, but yeah, I mean, I don't want Gears to end up like that, but, looking at history, that's kind of what happens.
But here, the other thing is that, what we've been saying about letting it kind of simmer for a little bit longer. I think, when you think, I look at a game like Tomb Raider, where it was like, the guys who were making Tomb Raider were doing pretty good. The guys who did the past ones, but there were kind of like little steps. This new one, they let it sit for a few years, and then all of a sudden comes this whole new thing.
Well, they didn't let it sit for a few years. Angel of Darkness was such a freaking mess.
Yeah.
They were forced to stop. Like,
Exactly.
it
So
was like a disaster.
but then that was long enough for everybody to to let it simmer. It's like, hey, we've had enough with Tomb Raider. Now we're coming back. Oh, hey, this is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
And
that's
they
a rare
obviously
example.
and obviously the thing is that they're not doing these Tomb Raider games are nothing like any of the older ones.
Yeah, they're not, but that's a rare case.
Right.
Most times when somebody else takes over and they do something different,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
And look at what happened in that gap, right? Uncharted happened in that gap. So what they did with Tomb Raider is they learned from what a Naughty Dog did.
Yeah.
And then went and made a Tomb Raider game. Like, you had that gap, and you look around at what was happening. When you don't have breathing room, when you're just like churn out Halo, and you're just looking at what's been done and trying to copy it, that's when things get watered down.
Yeah, and that's probably what's going to happen in Gears of War. You see Gears of War games every fucking year just to satiate these fucking stockholders and stuff.
And to be honest, it's probably going to happen to Metal Gear as well.
Oh yeah,
Most definitely going to happen to Metal Gear.
Konami's going to run that to the ground and just.
It's going to be all of their great franchises. What happened to them? They lost their original creators and their original teams, and they all floundered.
Every last one.
Every last one of them.
And you're being nice when you say floundered. I said they fucked up. Look at Castlevania. Perfect example.
Oh my god.
Horrible.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. Last question. How many consoles do you think Sony will sell this year? Let's go with PS4, obviously. I was thinking about this too the other day. Okay, so they've sold 36 million in 2 years, right? So that's roughly, 17, 18 million or so? So to play it safe, I'm going to say they're going to sell around 18 million this year, which would bring them up to a little over 50 million by the end of the year. That's being conservative, obviously. They could, who knows, they could drop the price to 300 per million, pump out even more. But I'm going to say they're going to sell about 18 to 20 million by the end of the year. That's my prediction. Who else wants to go?
I'll say they'll definitely meet that trend. They'll sell anywhere from 18 to 22 because this is the year that a lot of their exclusives are hitting the ground. This is the year where all the patience we've given them and all the
greatness awaits.
Well, I would say that, but like we've been waiting for the games to come out, right? We've had third-party stuff and whatever, and everybody's like, "Where's the exclusives?" This year, that's when all the exclusives come out, right? So anybody who was on the fence and whatever, that's when their sales are going to pick up. Like, they're definitely putting forth their best now. This is when we're going to see what the PS4 is capable of. All the titles that we were waiting for in the beginning to see what the system can do, like that. Now we're going to see it this year. So I think I'll give it like 20 to 22 million probably.
All right.
I'll be generous.
Yeah, I'm just being conservative myself. Brian, what do you say?
Don't know. Don't particularly care, to be fair.
Oh man.
Because no matter how many they sell, it will make Uncharted 1080-60, so it doesn't matter to me. They can sell 100 million for Arcade next year or this year. I still give a fuck, to be fair. I honestly just do not care.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be playing. You don't care because you got PC, so you really don't.
Oh no, I just don't care because it's like a review number. It's just arbitrary numbers that exist. It's like they have no bearing in my life whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's still interesting to talk about nonetheless. But I guess you don't find it interesting
until it beats the PS2 sales numbers to me of any system. Just don't matter.
I can agree with Brian. I just feel like just because the numbers thing is just getting boring and over. And I mean, granted, yes, these things people do care about, but at the same time, numbers are boring and games are fun. Let's not talk about numbers anymore. No. Numbers scare me like spiders. Let's just say that.
Okay, is it doing better comparatively than last generation? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I really need to care about, to be fair. Until it beats, 160 million? That's it. I don't care, to be fair.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, and this is why numbers are interesting here, because if it sells even the amount Chris and I said, that's still outselling the PS2. So that in and of itself is pretty noteworthy.
Again, 160 million, once it gets there, then I'll start
That's going to be 10 years, dude. That's going to be 10 years. That's how long it took the PS2 to sell that many.
If it beats, or if it gets to 160 million.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get there.
Yeah. Brett, what do you say? Because I know you were saying it's going to outsell the PS2 easily eventually.
I think it will, just because it has the bigger user base. I think we'll get there.
Yeah. So
It'll take a while, but
what do you say for this year?
I think it'll be. I don't think it'll outsell it this year. Like I mean, we're talking
No,
about.
I'm talking about just how many PS4s do you think are going to sell this year?
Oh Jesus Christ! I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Nope, not even gonna try to take a guess on that one.
Right.
I don't generally try and pay enough attention to the numbers to justify that.
Yeah, well, like I said, I ride my numbers at, taking what they have now, slicing it into 2 years, came out with 17 million. I'm like, okay, they'll make another 17, or it's 18, 20 million. And Chris, you put out 22 million most. It could be, you never know. This shit could sell like 25 million this year. Like if it really, like with all those exclusives, man, you never know. It might even, who knows? Things are different now, but I definitely think it's gonna, keep on that runaway train of success.
Numbers scare me like spiders.
You're not scared of spiders.
No, I'm not, but Chris is. So they scare me like they scare Chris with spiders.
Oh yeah, I am scared of spiders.
Why? They're little. They're bigger than spiders. Come on, man.
Dude, have you seen some of
legs.
those spiders? I'm sure fucking Texas has got some massive ones.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about New York spiders. Those Texas
Hell
spiders.
no, I've seen some fucking huge spiders in my house.
Oh man, I see spiders in my house. So I do them at home.
Dude, when we lived out in Bayside, oh my god, we got these huge fucking things.
Oh wow.
Huge spiders, these fucking weird stink bug looking things. What the hell?
Destroy all insects, man. Fuck those things. All right. Last questions here from Black Star. Actually, no. Actually, I moved him down because just switching things around. All right, Black Star. Besides video games and porn, what will be the biggest uses for virtual reality?
Well, porn is not going to be used, apparently.
Nope, not on Oculus.
Not on the Oculus.
How dare they?
No porn.
We're the hackers when you need them. Stop DDoSing everything. Get on it.
Oh, they'll be there. Like, give it, I say, about 3 months. It's like, boom, porn, deal.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna hack that
There's
shit.
no way. That's almost like issuing a challenge.
Brett, I'm going to go to you. What are some other uses for VR? Because I know you've talked about this extensively in the past.
I think there'll be face meetings. I think that it'll be. How do I put it? I don't think it'll have a specific use as much as be very useful in the sense that, like, what's the specific use of a second monitor? What's the specific use of a mouse that you need that you couldn't have with, say, like a touchpad? Like, it won't help you do a whole lot that you couldn't do before, but it'll help you do just about everything better. Imagine, for instance, if you're sorting files or working on spreadsheets, having the equivalent of 6 to 7 screens displayed in front of you, or, a hovering world where you can, Manny could have his, basically a wall of reference surrounding him while he's on his digital tablet kind of deal. Like, you're used to viewing the world and dealing with computers through this little tiny window, and I think that virtual reality will change the way that you interact with the computer. It won't be through this little tiny window, and I think at some point, eventually, probably like 20 years down the line, we'll look back and people will be like, "Oh man, so the only way you guys used to deal with computers is through like a little tiny window?" Like, yeah, yep, that's how we did it back then. Uphill the snow both ways.
All right.
So-
I don't like me. I guess I could see it with like medical stuff, maybe teaching people how to do surgery or whatever in virtual reality.
Which is already done.
Yeah, it's already done in airplane simulations. They already do that. AR is more for that sort of stuff, though. But we're talking about VR here. I don't know. I don't know what else I could use it for. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you can use it for training. You can use it for 3D modeling. I mean,
What do you use your monitor for now, Tony?
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
wait.
Wait. Did you say? Yeah, Brett.
What was
did you
that
say?
there?
What?
Yeah,
What happened?
No, Brett.
Brett just
You
stopped.
just-
Everybody stopped talking. I'm like, anybody else?
No,
No,
dude,
I asked you a question. I said, what do you use your monitor for now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's a weird question.
Well, so is what would you use a Rift for? Because you'd use everything. You could use everything that you could use a Rift for everything that you use a monitor for now, and then some things.
I use my monitor to look at things I'm writing, videos, doing podcast. So, Brad, you know what I use my monitor for? Monitor shit.
I know. The thing that I'm saying is like it's really like when you say like what else would I do with VR other than video games and porn? It's like I don't know. What do you do with your monitor other than video games or porn? Does that make your monitor like not
Oh, okay,
useful?
I see what you're saying.
Like it's the same. It's a difficult question that's tricky based on how it's asked. Like it's like when somebody asks me like, oh, how much is a tattoo? It's like I don't know. How much is a bag of groceries? Like it fucking depends on what you get.
Yeah, I guess. All right, there you go. All right, here.
Well,
Yeah,
again,
go
like the concept of VR is putting yourself in a virtual reality, and I know that sounds completely like, oh, well, duh, Brian.
But that's what it
But
is.
but think about that. You put yourself in any virtual reality. So the biggest uses that I can see are training simulators. So like your fighter jets, your astronauts, those type of things. Like put you in places where you can't really go, or even
Well, you
like
don't even need to be that high
studying
tech.
like out of the world things. You know, like hey, take a trip around the sun, or take a trip around the International Space Station, or take a trip inside this volcano. You know, like stuff
Yeah.
that you can't physically go there for reasons.
Or
And
teach your kids about dinosaurs.
yeah, even that. Or like the one thing that I'm pretty sure it will get used for just watching TV in bed. Like one of the biggest problems that I have is like having to sit up and watch TV. So hey, I put on my VR headset, I just lay back in bed, just like flat down, and boom, I'm watching One Punch Man season 2, or um, watching what you call it, Attack on Titan season 2. You know, just
See,
again.
this man thinks out of the box. This is the kind of shit that's gonna make it worthwhile. I think. Tony, have you ever had a second monitor?
No, why would I need a second monitor? That's kind of weird.
Rachel said the same thing until she got a second monitor.
Yeah, no, I don't use a second. I don't see a point of that. One monitor is fine. It's like, hey, why do you have two TVs? I'm like, why? I have one television. Like, no, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh my God, Brian, can you?
I know. Tony,
What?
it's one of those things that you don't know that you don't know. It's one of the things that you don't know that you need until you actually have it, and then once you have it, then you can't go backwards. Anything else feels completely like wrong. Because
Okay, then
at
try to
work, I
explain
have
it
two
to me.
monitors,
Yeah.
and that's fantastic. Like I could have like my one screen for pure productivity, then my other screen for just other stuff. But then I often find myself wanting a third screen just so I can have my main screen for whatever I'm doing and focused on, the right screen for any communication stuff like emails, Skype, whatever, and then the left screen for research stuff. So that way, no more having to switch between different windows open and all that stuff. Just left, right, and whatever. It sounds daft, but until you use it, then you don't realize exactly like what you're missing.
No, I see what you're saying. Like I have one window. I'm talking to you guys, right? Next window over here, I'm checking Twitter and shit. Let's say if I had a competent computer, I had Twitter over here and the YouTube and shit, and then the other
you
one
could,
I
like,
have
live
porno.
blog-
Okay, I see. That makes sense to me. That makes sense to
Like,
me.
so like next time EP like rolls around, you could have like your monitor on one side with a stream, and then on another screen just Twitter, or a mix of Twitter and the coalition. So you can write and post and tweet all at the same time without having like switch between different windows.
Well,
And
not
it just
me.
increases your productivity
I
like
go to
tenfold.
I go to E3, but I know what you're saying. Like,
You know what I mean?
with Tokyo Game Show, ooh, that would be sweet, dude. Because I could have one window with the actual Tokyo Game Show, right? The next window, I'm writing shit, doing posts, and then maybe a third window, I'm tweeting. You know? Okay.
Now imagine doing that all in virtual reality and being able to, like right now, you could have a hovering window in like Neon Space or like wherever you feel like. Like if you feel like podcasting from the jungle, like it could look like you're in the jungle, and then you have like this hovering window in front of you, and then you pull up another window and you just seamlessly move it to your left-hand side, so you're not seeing it unless you look to the left. And so there's a hovering window to your left, and then the podcast is on your front, and then all your show notes are hovering to your right, and then above you maybe you have this other thing that you're working on, and below you're watching YouTube videos or something like that, or you have some shit on pause. Like you could have one monitor, two monitors, five monitors, all varying sizes, all in positions that are not actually possible due to gravity. Like it's great. Like Brian said, like you could lay in bed and watch TV. You could virtually hang a TV above your bed, or not even have it look like a TV. Just fill up your whole vision.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would never have thought of that shit, you know. So there
I'd
you
be
go.
looking forward to productivity purposes myself.
Yeah, that would definitely be. I don't know about the whole VR. The monitors thing sound more like, again, because I don't want to have that fucking thing on my head. But yeah, I could see that though. I could definitely see people using it for sure. It's like, listen, I'm feeling fucked up today. I hurt my back. Let me get work done in my bed with the VR. I totally get that. That's a pretty viable way of using it. Pretty cool.
Troopers 3, go virtual reality.
All right, next question. For the PC guys, do you plan on upgrading to the new Pascal GPUs from NVIDIA this year? They are supposed to be a giant leap in performance. I'm going to wait and see what these cards are before I upgrade. Take it away, PC guys.
Oh boy.
Brian, yes.
I'm saying, oh boy, because they say that every single time, that every single thing that they bring out, hey, there's a giant leap forward. You know, like Intel has been doing that for CPUs since like before I was into PC games. It's like, hey, this thing's like, we have our 2 series. It's fantastic. Oh no, our second gen of CPUs, they're so much better than the first gen. Really? No, slight improvement. Oh, third gen, so much better than the second gen. Really? No, slight improvement. Fourth gen, you get the point now. What, they're up to like the 6th gen now? And even then, it's like, hey, 6th gen, you need this new motherboard with which is only comparable with DDR4 RAM. Okay, is it worth it overall? No, because it's only like a bare minimum improvement. It's like, so what's the point?
Brad, do you ever go back and read the
that.
ads or see the ads years later when like the 4500 HD blazing hot graphics, and you're like, oh you sweet summer.
Yeah, they're brilliant. But yeah, and that's why like all advertising has just like worn off on me, because like I've gotten to the point now where I'm just resistant to it. It's like you can say like whatever you want, but until it's actually shown, it just will just go straight through me. It's like I'll turn into is it Shadowcat from X-Men? Right?
Oh, like so Kitty Pryde just phasing through shit.
Just do stuff. Whoop, advert's gone. That's it. Yeah. Well, I don't think it will, to be fair. And it's GPUs. Like at this point, like it's only gonna be like a slight improvement, or even worse, they're gonna do what AMD does, and it's like, hey, we'll just like rebrand these as like the new series and introduce one new one that's slightly more powerful, and that's it. Whatever. But people will buy it because it's new, and that's what people do. It makes me sad. Like I've read posts of like people like trading in their like 780s for 780 Ti's and like the 980s for 980. Like someone traded in the dual 980s for dual 980 Ti's, and it's like, why? Do you just have infinite money to buy? Like, okay, keep in mind that a 980 is like over the price of a PS4. So they had 2 of them and traded them for 980 Ti's, which was slightly more expensive. Because reasons.
There's no game that like can max out the even the setup that he sold that I know of.
Unless you're running it like 3-4K monitors, like in Infinity.
Okay, yeah, then maybe.
But even then, who does that?
And the person who has way too many 4K monitors and hates gaming in less than 120 FPS.
Who does that? Like at that point,
I know who does
outside.
that.
Come on,
There's only one word. There's only one name.
Oh, him? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he has all the money,
God.
so it's fine. You know, like he just go outside like that, pours oil in a cup of tea and goes to the store and sell it. So he's fine.
He will probably have it.
Yeah, like he's one of the guys that's did you hear about it, Brett? At one point, like this was like way back when the 500s and like Nvidias were like really good. He had 580s, yeah, inside his PC.
Yeah, man, to a point of
4,
like diminishing return.
not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4.
Man.
See,
Because
that's
he
the
had
thing.
that
Like,
money.
there was no game then that needed that kind of power, and like by the point those cards become old, like there's like having 4 of them isn't gonna fucking help you run anything. It seems like a weird setup to me, and I don't get why people do that.
It's like at that point they just have money to burn, and that's what they do. It's like, hey, let's throw money at this because I have money.
Some people have money to burn, Master Wayne.
Oh man. All right. So let's move on here. Which game on Sony's side do you think will get delayed to 2017? My money's on Horizon Zero Dawn. I think that one probably gonna get delayed too. I hate to say that, but yeah. But if I'm gonna have to pick a definite one that's gonna get delayed, Last Guardian.
No.
But does the Zero Dawn have a date yet, or is it just like the
They
season?
said 2016. They just said 2016. That's all they said.
No quarter or anything?
Nope, just 2016.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all
That's
we
the
got.
safe. That's always the safe bet. You just name the year.
With that, if they haven't got a date out by like a month after E3, then most likely it will be delayed. That's just my guess. But again, I'll go with Tony's answer, Last Guardian.
Sorry, Mike A. All right. What does anybody else think? Manny, what do you think's gonna get delayed?
Oh, it's Sony games.
Yeah, exclusive.
Maybe Uncharted again.
That would be fucked up.
Yeah, that would be fucked up.
Maybe Uncharted. I'm gonna go with your guys' assessment in The Last Guardian.
Oh man.
And I'm gonna go with what's the other exclusive? Oh, wasn't there supposed to be a Gran Turismo-ish thing?
Yeah, that's right. Gran
That's
Turismo
delayed.
Sport.
Was it meant to be on
what
this
about
year?
Yeah, they said 2016.
They said 2016. That's delayed, too.
What about the other game, that puzzle game that was shown, made by that guy who made Braid?
Well, the thing is that that's not officially a Sony game.
Well, it's in it like a console exclusive or something.
It's a console exclusive, yes, but I wouldn't consider that a Sony game.
Ooh, No Man's Sky for the fun of it.
Oh,
Purely to piss people off. It's like, hey, it's delayed, so haha. Or even better, just cancel it now, and then just say it's done. And then
Yeah.
just walk out.
You know what's far more likely is Star Citizen never actually becoming a game, and that's sad.
oh, really?
They did say that it's slated for 2016.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
And Mark
Yeah.
Hamill's in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
I don't know.
Yeah, because the last time Mark Hamill was in the game, wait, actually no. I'm thinking about Wing Commander, but he was in Batman. Never mind. All right, Chris, what do you say? What's getting delayed?
I'll just agree with you guys.
The
I'll just say
panel.
Last Guardian. No, but I swear, No Man's Sky better not be freaking delayed.
Yeah, because no one's gonna give a shit anymore. Is it
I
like
think already people are not giving a shit about that game.
Yeah, I
It's
swear.
too
that-
late.
You just
they-
don't bother then.
the interest for that game's all but faded, so they can't delay it anymore. All right, Brett, what do you say? What's getting delayed? Oh, go ahead, Chris. Finish off.
No, I said I know we always say delay a game, make sure it's ready, but there's always a grace period. There's always
Yeah.
there's a reasonable amount of time. Like
You
The
know-
Last Guardian has definitely passed that point.
Yeah,
So don't let No Man's Sky be like that.
Way
I think I've-
past that point.
I think I've noticed a pattern though in a lot of things. Like, there's been a lot of innovation in the industry in the last, let's say, 5 years, right? Even in the sense that survival games now are a genre. Like, if you really even just think about that alone, like, we've developed a new genre of video game in the last 5 years that hadn't existed before. That just strikes me as a little bit weird. So we're defining all these new games. Shit! I lost my train of thought.
Games
Lost
that are
my train
getting-
of thought.
Games that are getting delayed. That's the main thing.
Fuck it. Division's getting delayed.
Even though that's not a Sony game.
I don't know what Sony games are. I'm really trying. My New Year's resolution like this last year, and it worked out pretty well, was to not pay as much attention to when these things are supposed to be coming. I'm still not completely sold that Dark Souls is going to come when it's coming, and I'm not really holding my breath that it's coming when it's coming. Like when you're like, oh, Dark Souls 2 is coming out in 2 weeks, that's when I'll be like, oh, really? Okay, let's do this then. Up until then, nothing's set in stone. Obviously, The Last Guardian will be delayed. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I think in terms of innovation, and that was one thing I wanted to point out. In terms of innovation, I think that the first person to come up with an idea like No Man's Sky inevitably fuck it up. Like, they don't do it right. I've seen people come up with great ideas, and I've seen people make great games from those great ideas, and they are very rarely the same person.
Oh, so you think No Man's Sky is just going to be the pioneer, and then somebody else is going to come along and be like, "This is how you do it."
Yeah, somebody has seen the hype that No Man's Sky generated, and when No Man's Sky has failed to produce, as it kind of already is, somebody's going to sit back there and be like, "This is taking way fucking long. I'm pretty sure I might be able to pull this idea together."
It's like virtual reality.
Yeah,
You know,
it
came
happened
out
with
first. It came out years ago. People were like, "What is this? Whatever."
Virtual.
Oh, dude, it's even like virtual reality now. Like, if Oculus Rift had actually made it to market a year or two ago, they would have this shit on lockdown like the 360 had Xbox. But they didn't, and now we're talking about 3 simultaneous headsets at least launching within a relatively short period of time. So already Oculus Rift, in my opinion, or Oculus has been mismanaged, delayed, overpriced, and they've lost their exclusivity in the market. So if you ask me, I have beef with Oculus at this point because I don't feel like they're managing their company very well. So we'll see if that proves to be how Oculus is. And I would laugh my ass off if Sony was the one to run away with this.
Oh man, we shall see. Okay, let's go to the final question here. Final question by Mr. Himdeal. Are there any comics that you're looking forward to reading this year? I'm going to say it with this. Marvel's coming out with Civil War 2. That right there is like, okay, Tony, you and Marvel are kind of done again. They fucked up. They fucked up royally in 2016. 2015. I was so hyped when they were like, okay, we're going to redo our entire lineup. Here's Secret Wars. I love Secret Wars. That's what was going. Then they released all new, all different Marvel before Secret Wars even ended. Secret Wars is not over, people. It is still fucking going. So, and then you see the relaunch universe. It's the same shit that we've seen before. There's really not much of a difference. It's like, okay, you're going to do a difference, but you're not really going to change anything. In other words, you're doing the same fucking shit you do every fucking, year with events, Marvel. You claim you're going to do something different, and you fuck it up, and I stop caring. So I'm done with Marvel Comics.
Oh, they did something different. They took away Thor's goddamn name.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still mad about that. Like, I hear people talk about, yeah, I don't like the whole lot change. Like, they're fucking around with characters, blah, blah, blah. Like, Captain America's a black guy now, and Peter Parker's a black guy. And I was like, it's not Peter Parker. Spider-Man's a black guy. And Spider-Man's a black guy in the comic book, and it makes fucking sense. It's a different story. It's a different character. That's absolutely fine. Nobody cares about that. And that pisses me off in the sense that, goddamn it, you're muddying the waters for where they really do fuck up a character. But Thor bothers me so much. You couldn't have had a female version of Thor. You had to ex-nay Thor. For some social justice warrior bullshit, you took away a guy's motherfucking name. Not his powers, not his identity, not his costume. His fucking name, man. That is not cool, and it's just like cheap, low-handed bullshit that made me lose respect for Marvel. And honestly, all but stopped reading their comic books this last year.
Yeah, here's the thing with Marvel. Man, you and I talked about this. Why aren't they giving these minority characters their actual identity? It has to be the black Captain America, the Asian Hulk, the woman Thor.
Why can't Falcon be the leader of the Avengers? Why does it have to be Falcon dressed as Captain America?
Yeah, it's like why does it?
Okay, if you're gonna switch out the team of the Avengers, then switch out the fucking team of the Avengers. Don't just throw a bunch of people in there and say, hey, now this guy is that guy and this guy is now this guy. Stupid.
Yeah, it's like instead of okay, you want more diversity in comics, right? That's great. But why are you making diversity? Like, hey, now Captain America's black. Now Hulk's Asian. Now Thor's a woman. That's ridiculous. Why don't you just make new black characters, new women characters, and just roll with that?
New Asian characters, yeah. If we're gonna go for the diversity, why aren't we going for real diversity and making characters with their own fucking identities as opposed to reappropriating characters that have already existed?
Or how about you take all those minority characters you have already created and prop them up, make them interesting, you know?
Yeah, why can't Night Thrasher be on the Avengers? What? Nobody's done anything with that guy in years.
I don't know. I think the whole approach is fucking
happened
wrong.
to Brother Voodoo? Come on.
Well, why can't we just have why can't we have instead of just straight up oh, it's a black guy now, it's a white guy now, how about you make a half black character, a person who's half black, half white, and you just don't make a big fucking deal about it. One of
that is the other thing. The fact that a character is of a race or gender, for some reason, is a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. Just because a character is a female, just because they're black or white or Hispanic, it doesn't matter. It should just be about that character and not about their struggle.
Yeah, she's like, hey, look, that's interesting. She's Hispanic. That's cool. Let's move on.
Exactly.
I want it to be like the police chief in The Flash. I know I've said it before. I don't care. I'm gonna praise it again. I love the fact that we're oh, my husband's in danger. They're oh, okay, cool. On my way to save him. That was it. There was no your husband? What?
And then think about it like this. Barry Allen, right? He is raised by a black guy. No one makes a big deal. Hey, that's your father. Great. I love the fact they don't have to shove it in your face. Oh, as raising a white kid growing up, then none of that bullshit in there, Yeah. That's the way it should be handled.
Nor do they hold up Barry, a white guy, wants to have a relationship with a black woman?
Yeah.
They could shove that in people's face and be look, it's an interracial relationship. Aren't we progressive?
Yeah. They don't do that. They do it the right way. It's just, hey, here's diversity without throwing it in your fucking face. And Marvel has come out and said, well, yeah, we want more diversity. Why are you saying it? Just fucking do it.
Yeah, that is a big issue I have with with Marvel's thing, where it's okay, we're making a point to go out and get more minority creators. The problem with that is that you're saying that you are going out and looking for minority creators. Just get creators. It doesn't matter. You know what? It's if they're good for if that's it. That's it. It's if you want to have this character, okay, if this team is right for it, then the team is right for it. Don't just go getting people because you want to fill a fucking quota.
Yeah, man.
To be honest, I find that more offensive than just not having it at all. It's hey, look, we're going to get the black team, and they're going to do the black book.
Or the woman team, the A-Force.
Oh, A-Force. I was I double facepalm.
Oh, dude, the problem with a lot of those things is they're not even written by women. They were written by some apologetic feminist guy who thinks they have an agenda to spread. And in the my wife gets super pissed about this stuff. She reads the stuff and is do you not realize that you're taking away people's agency? That just shut the fuck up. We both watched Into the Badlands and we both absolutely love the character of the Baroness because she's strong and she's awesome. One of Rachel's favorite characters is Emma Frost because she's a badass. You don't have to dress up an awesome character by putting him up on a pedestal. All you do is be look at how strong this woman is, everybody. It just feels like pointing out a black guy in the middle of town and being this guy went to college. Whoa, dude, that is not cool.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, man.
I feel
yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
I feel some kind of pendulum has swung where DC is somehow doing this right. Where at one point they did this wrong, and Marvel's the one screwing this up when they used to be edgy but doing things like trend setting and stuff. Now it's switched.
I want to talk about DC real quick. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and on the surface of it, it sounds weird, but it's actually worked. DC, when they redid everything after Convergence, they were continuity. We're not gonna worry too much about that. We're just gonna tell really good stories. And it's kind of working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's working. It's okay, you can read Justice League, right? Superman is Superman. He has all his powers. And you read his book, he has no powers, and it doesn't fucking matter because they're telling you really cool stories. I'm as far as mainstream goes, I'm gonna catch up to DC and shit. But Marvel, they lost me, man. It's too much bullshit, and that's hard because I'm a Marvel guy. I love Marvel more than DC, but DC in the
Well,
comic space is
just
fucking
to say that most of the Marvel guys are at DC.
yeah.
Just saying.
Haven't a lot of those guys who've found success at the big two also branched off into the burgeoning indie scene? Like there seem to be way more good indie books than there have been since like the 90s.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. I mean, here's the real thing I want to say. Get away from the mainstream stuff. Read the independent shit. What I'm looking forward to in 2016. I want to read more Valiant Comics. Valiant Comics is the best fucking publisher right now. They're kicking the shit out of Marvel and DC. You know why? Because they take risks. They don't give a fuck. There's actual heroes that kill their villains. Shit like that. There's moral ambiguity, stuff that you would never see in Marvel and DC because they're corporate comics.
Well, that's what I liked about Valiant. Valiant just tries to write good stories. They don't look at
Exactly.
a PowerPoint sheet of demographics and wondering what character is going to appeal to what fucking, chart. Fuck that shit. Just write a good story.
Yeah, and that's Valiant's main thing. It's like, listen, we have these great characters. We're going to tell great stories with these characters. We're not worried about all this other stuff, and it's great. I love it. I fucking love it. So Valiant is it for me this year. That's what I'm looking forward to answer the question directly. But we needed to get the whole diversity thing out in the open because it's important that people understand what's going on with comics now as far as the mainstream goes. Here's the funny thing: independent guys have been doing the fucking diversity shit for years.
Yeah, and they don't go trumpeting like boop 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 boop. We're making a book with a bunch of Hispanic people in it. Whoa.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. All right, any other thoughts on this?
My only thought has always been, and will always be this: like, if Aidan Pierce was a black transsexual midget woman lesbian thing, then it would still be a boring ass character. And if you understand that, then you understand why I don't give a damn about whatever's going on over there with these people. Boring characters will always be boring, regardless of like what gender, race, ethnicity, or other crap. Boring characters will always be boring. So how about we get good characters first, and then if they happen to be black, whatever.
I hope that the comic producers realize this year that we're not idiots, and that if you take somebody and stuff them into a Captain America suit, we realize that this is a different character. Like, we realize that this is a different person, and we don't automatically care about this person simply because they're wearing somebody else's clothes. And to think that that kind of shitty magic trick would actually work on people strikes me as weird. And so my real hope is they realize that I'm not an idiot this year, because I'm hoping to get the money to get back into comic books and read some this year, despite it not being the greatest landscape. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see about that. Right? Anybody else have any thoughts? Comics.
Ooh, Deadpool. Deadpool's going to get a popularity surge and get some more high-profile, probably, writers and artists on it this year. So.
Oh yeah, Deadpool's coming in strong this year, which is ironic.
Well, I
Fox,
don't know. If Fox still owns it, right? Marvel may just kill him too.
No, but the thing is, Marvel is pushing out a lot of Deadpool books, which is, again, ironic considering that
they killed Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Well, but Deadpool is a tester. Like, for some reason, Marvel has not figured out that its fan base has grown up. I mean, it's figured that out in the sense that, like, it knows we have grown-up jobs, and it knows that we have grown-up money, and it knows that sometimes we have grown-up time, but it doesn't understand that we have grown-up taste to a certain extent. Like, the hesitancy at putting out an R-rated superhero movie. Like, you shouldn't have to have an R-rated Deadpool. You should be able to have an R-rated Avengers, and people would still watch that movie, in my opinion. But for some reason, everybody's super hesitant about an R-rated Deadpool, and I think Marvel is watching real closely to see how well this movie does, and I think if it does well, you'll actually see them loosen the leash a little bit.
Oh, Brad, you cut off there.
I said I think you'll see them loosen their leash a little on their.
That what you just said right now, that is my main hope. I hope Deadpool is really good and really successful because we're gonna get more R-rated, comic movies. Look at fucking Daredevil, right? That shows you what happens when you get off that PG-13 leash. That's the real shit. That's what we deserve. Again, like you said, like, yeah, we're grown-ups, we have grown-up money, but we're also grown-ups. We want adult fucking stories, you know? And we're not saying every superhero movie needs to be like that, obviously not. But, you know, come on, if you have Wolverine, a guy who literally has fucking knives coming out of his hands, we should see shit flying around. We should see blood and limbs, all that stuff, you know? But they're not trying to give us that because they want to, you know, cater to the kids for whatever. Remember the 80s, man? You would have. Okay, basically, man, okay, if we had the technology we had now in the 80s, we get proper fucking movies, man. The 80s, you had shit like Predator and RoboCop and fucking Aliens being sold to children. They were R-rated movies, and they were real R-rated movies, not these watered-down R-rated movies that we have nowadays, you know?
And that's everybody's favorite shit. Like, who doesn't love Aliens and Predator and Terminator?
Exactly. And that's the thing about this Deadpool movie, which is crazy. Even though it's R-rated, it's going to be watered down, you know, compared to the 80s. Let's just be honest. An R rating now is not what it used to be back in the day. Even PG-13 now. PG-13 used to be pretty brutal back in the day, but, you know, they water that shit down too, you know?
I mean, you could take 5 minutes of RoboCop in the 80s is more violent than most R-rated movies today.
Exactly. So just keep that in mind too. Deadpool is going to be more hardcore compared to what you see nowadays, but it's not going to be more hardcore than the shit you used to see back in the 80s. Not even close.
Somebody floated a great idea at me with Deadpool. They're like, so Deadpool's a Marvel character, right? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, so he could, in theory, show up in a Marvel movie. We're like, yeah, but that'd be a little hard for the narrative. And they're like, okay, well, in any PG-13 movie, you're allowed to drop an F-bomb once. So what if you had Deadpool in the movie, like, repeatedly trying to drop the F-bomb with his knowledge of the fourth wall, be like, oh, mother, and somebody just interrupts him. And then, like, 3/4 of the way through the movie, Wolverine just, like, lets one slip, like, fuck. And Deadpool loses his shit. Because you can only say it once.
I see that happening in an X-Men movie. When they get Deadpool in an X-Men movie, that's going to happen. Watch, you know, because X-Men movies are always going to be PG-13. You have Deadpool in there, right? They should do that. That'd be a pretty cool idea, actually.
And then starts screaming, like, you can only say it once! Nobody knows what he's talking about. Like, so many gags. I really hope they break a lot of fourth wall in this movie.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. All right. So that's pretty much it, people. Not really much to say here. Throwdown Your Questions is back on all that. So thank you for watching and listening. Make sure to leave us your questions in the comment section on the Coalition or on YouTube so we can answer them on next week's show. But I'm actually getting ahead of myself. Who won this motherfucker? Right here. Who
won it?
This was a very tough choice. We had two guys that potentially won this, right? Hardcore dudes, but we're gonna go with Mr. Final Stage Boss. You won.
Wait. Oh, sorry. Actually, it should be more like, there we go.
Yeah, Mr. Final Stage Boss, man. You get this. The only thing is Final Stage Boss, and I know you listen. Hit me up on PSN because you're not on fucking Twitter. Like, how are you not on Twitter? I don't understand that.
Yes, anyway. we need to get your address, and we also need to get what you might want drawn inside of your book.
Yes, remember, you're gonna get a specific drawing.
You'll get a specific drawing, and remember, it's only a portrait. It's not a full-on full-page drawing. So don't be asking for like, yo, man, I want Snake standing on a mountain, blowing up Metal Gear, you know, and then
look,
all these fires all over. Like that right there.
Within those confines, that's what it has to fit in. So hit me up on PSN. We'll get your details and we'll get this thing sent out to you fast. And I want to give a quick shout out to Lesrima, who also could have won this. We'll get you something good in the future, dude, because he's another loyal guy. You know? Dude. All right, so that's it, people. Again, congratulations, Final Stage Boss. Hit me up. All right. Make sure to follow. There we go. We got the right sound effect. Make sure to follow the Coalition at thecoalition.com. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Throwdown Show. Links are available in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Palmer tonight. I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
And to add, don't forget to rate our show. You know, throw down your questions and the Throwdown on iTunes. Every little bit helps.
And give love to the Coalition on Patreons. Links down there. All right, Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Brett.
Pleasure as always, folks.
And Brian.
Fuck you, Preston. I will not liberate another settlement.
All right, guys. Later.
See ya.
There, people.
Auf Wiedersehen.